So when we were sat on this beautiful balcony, I realised fairly early on that one of the critical moves to success was going to be in creating a lot of content and building an audience. I don't know how I knew that. I guess probably from my history in theatres and all the rest of it, it was always about how do we get bums on seats, to see the show. That was always kind of so I guess it was inbuilt in me that that's what I felt I needed to do. Somehow I needed to get bums on seats. I needed to get myself in front of people. And I proved this by releasing a product very early on before I had built any kind of reputation online or an audience or an email list. Or in the early days, let's say, of building that audience. And I sold 4 products at the time and made a total sum of $27 after having put this video product together. And of course, I didn't have the confidence either to charge, big amounts. So I was only charging like $7 or $9 or whatever. And anyway, so it was good practice. But what I actually did is there's also an element of timing involved sometimes, I think, in what you choose to do. But I got in there right at the beginning of when Facebook fan pages were becoming a bit of a craze. And so what I actually did is I spent about 6-8 months just making video after video after video showing people how to use these Facebook fan pages to grow their online business and to build an email list, which I felt was really important. And I built my own email list by, creating this content and helping people to build these Facebook fan pages. And so then when I launched my next video course, I now had 10,000, 12,000, whatever subscribers on my email list that I was now selling to. And so my second video course, I did $20,000, $30,000, worth of sales. And then the real big, and I tell you a quick story here. We were up against it. Myself and my partner were up against it. We didn't have a lot of savings. We had a little girl to deal with. And our friends had come back to Cyprus. And so we'd actually gone to Australia, which is where my partner is from. And we were living in his parents' basement because we were sort of running out of cash. And we went for a walk one day, just down the road from his house. And we were like, we need to pack this up. I've made some money, enough to kind of get us through a few months, but it was a tough old gig, it was really tough. And we were like, we're not going to make this. We need to pack this up and go and get jobs. And I remember walking back, listening to a Tony Robbins podcast. And I can't remember what the podcast was now, but it was, good old Tony Robbins, upbeat, you can be who you want to be, blah, blah, blah. And I remember going and saying, we are not giving up. We are going to give this another 2 or 3 months. We're going to make this work. And I was sitting in my mum's lounge, actually, in England when we launched my membership site at the time, which was called the Social Networking Academy. And we did $117,000 worth of sales in 7 days. So we launched it. I was sat in my mum's lounge and we did 50 grand off the bat or something. And I was like, oh my God. And then, we did that in 7 days. And so that was all the proof I needed really that this could now work. And from there, we grew the business. We had ups and downs. It was very feast or famine. I was really in at the launch period when in the old days of internet marketing where it was all about launches, big launches. Jeff Walker had come out with his launch formula and Frank Kern was the big name at the time and all those guys. So it was constant launches. So our world was feast or famine. We'd go 6 months with no money and then all of a sudden we'd do a big launch, and then that launch would last us for the next however long. And then, so it was exhausting. It was a really exhausting few years. But it was great because we had the freedom to travel and do what we wanted. And then we kind of tripped over e-commerce and we got into Amazon and we started selling on Amazon. And then that sort of pretty much changed our financial life forever. That was what sealed the deal. And we did over 7 figures in 1 year with Amazon and went on to grow that over the following sort of 2 or 3 years. And then we sold that business in early 2020 and had a bit of a rest. And now I'm pursuing a sort of another little business model that I'm just having a good time launching. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But that's kind of been a quick précis of the last 11 years.